Star columnist Greg Hansen is breaking down which teams, players and coaches to watch, including 3 ugly trends, 3 schools taking the easy way out, and who might decide the outcome of the Pac-12 in 2018. Editor's note: this story is part of the Arizona Daily Star's 2018 college football preview. Arizona and ASU have put 40 football seasons in the books since gaining admission to the Pac-10 for the 1978 season. Here's a few for those books. 1. Mike Price, Washington State. This is the definition of doing more with less. Price coached the Cougars to Rose Bowls in 1997 and 2002, established the league's quarterback U for more than a decade, and spent half of his 14 WSU seasons ranked in the top 25. 2. Pete Carroll, USC. This is the definition of taking advantage of the West's mother lode of recruiting reaches. Carroll's Trojans went 97-19 in 9 years with 4 Rose Bowl wins and 2 national championships. 3. Mike Bellotti, Oregon. Sure, he was in the right place at the right time when Nike's Phil Knight blessed the Ducks with his financial largesse, but Bellotti won 116 games in 14 years. Only knock on him: no Rose Bowl. 4. Dick Tomey, Arizona. The Wildcats were, by percentage, the Pac-10's second most successful football program of the 1990s, and Tomey went 95-64 in his UA tenure. Oh, how they'd take that now. 5. Don James, Washington. James ruled the Pac-10 in the 1980s, won a national coach title in 1991 and earned respect for doing things the right way. It has taken 25 years for the Huskies to consistently get back to the dog that first level. 1. USC, 2004, the only Trojans team to finish undefeated and untied, 13-0, since John McKay's 1972 powerhouse. They outscored opponents for 9-6-1-6-9. 2. Washington, 1991, if you're as good as the 91 Huskies, 12-0 and co-national champs, you earned a fitting nickname. The Purple Rain might have been as good as any defensive team in college football history. 3. USC, 1979, the Trojans were so good, 11-0-1, that their 1-2 punch at tailback was Charles White and Marcus Allen, 2 Heisman Trophy winners. 4. Oregon, 2012, the Ducks were number 1 in mid-November but finished 12-1, losing a shocker to Stanford. Under future Heisman QB Marcus Mariota, Oregon averaged 49.6 points per game. 5. Oregon State, 2001, the Beavers went 11-1. It was the most unexpected elite team in league history. Along the way, Dennis Erickson's team beat number 5 Oregon, number 8 USC and demolished number 10 Notre Dame 41-9 in the Fiesta Bowl. 1. UA 28, ASU 18 1982. The stunning upset over the number 6 and Rose Bowl hopeful Sun Devils triggered the streak, an absorbing 8-0-1 domination over the Bullies from Tempe who had owned the rivalry for 2 decades. It led to the most successful 20-year period in UA football history. 2. UA 34, ASU 17 1986. This remains the most talked about game in UA history. The Chuck Cecil interception, the goal line tackle by James Debo, and a colossal upset over undefeated and 4th-ranked, Rose Bowl-bound Arizona State. 3. Arizona 16, Washington 3 1992. The number 1 Huskies had won 22 consecutive games before behind stopped cold by the emerging Desert Swarm defense. 4. Arizona 23, Nebraska 20 1998. The most successful season in UA history, 12-1, was capped by a rousing Holiday Bowl victory over the mighty Cornhuskers. 1. Cal 24, Arizona 20 1993. The 13th-ranked Wildcats blew a 20-0 lead and lost when the Bears returned a deflected pass for a deciding touchdown in the final 3 minutes. Arizona completed the league season 6-2, tied for first with UCLA and USC. A few hours after losing at Cal, Arizona learned that UCLA was upset by Arizona State. UCLA earned the Rose Bowl berth by way of a tiebreaker over Arizona. 2. Oregon 10, Arizona 9 1994. The Ducks scored the winning touchdown after a fourth-quarter disputed pass interference call near the UA goal line. The Wildcats entered the game ranked number 11 and 4-0 in the Pac-10. The Ducks were 5-2-3 overall, but after upsetting Arizona rolled to 3 more victories. edging Arizona out of the Rose Bowl berth by one game. 3. Penn State 41, Arizona 7. 1999. After its 12-1 season a year earlier, Arizona entered 1999 ranked number 4 nationally. It chose to set up a game at Penn State, believing it was in position to challenge the number 3 Nittany Lions, or at least hang tough. After getting blown out, the UA fell apart, finishing 6-6, and couldn't recover. A year later, coach Dick Tomey resigned. Carroll Tate. On October 7, 2017 at Colorado, Tate, the sophomore quarterback, rushed 14 times for 326 yards, including touchdowns of 75, 58, 47 and 28 yards, and completed 12 of 13 passes for 154 yards and a touchdown. Tate didn't enter the game until midway through the first quarter, yet rushed for more yards than any QB in FBS history. Arizona won 45-42. 2. Max Zendejas. On November 24, 1985, Zendejas literally kicked Arizona State out of the Rose Bowl in a shocking 16-13 come-from-behind victory in Tempe. Zendejas kicked a school record 57-yard field goal with 9:40 remaining to tie the game at 13. He then kicked the game winner with 1:43 remaining, in addition to a 46-yarder in the first half. With him, bleep, if they get to first downs they're in field goal range, ASU coach John Cooper said. 3. Marcus Bell. On October 3, 1998, Bell, a junior linebacker, made a school record 24 tackles and blocked a key field goal attempt as the Wildcats won the famous lead by the late game in Seattle, beating number 20 Washington 32-28. Bell, from Tiny Street, Johns in eastern Arizona, led the UA in tackles in both 1998 and 1999. 4. Chuck Cecil. On Halloween afternoon, 1987, Cecil, the senior safety, intercepted 4 passes at Stanford. 2 of Cecil's interceptions came in the fourth quarter as Stanford attempted to rally in a 23-13 loss. Cecil returned his third interception 41 yards to set up the clinching touchdown. 1. Ricky Hunley, 1979-1982, a consensus All-America linebacker in 1981 and 1982. Hunley changed the personality of UA football, sideline to sideline, week after week. 2. Chuck Cecil, 1984-87, the one-man wrecking crew, at all of 175 pounds. Cecil's in the College Football Hall of Fame. Why? He made more game-changing plays than anyone in school history. 3. Teddy Bruschi, 1992-95, the heart and soul of the Desert Swarm years act quarterbacks 54 times. That's a record that is likely never to be threatened. Since the Board of Regents in 2004 strongly suggested Arizona and ASU play now in football every season, alternating years, the Lumberjacks have gone 0-11. They have lost by scores of 77-13, 62-24, 63-16 and 41-10. Not a good way to open the season for now. ASU chose not to play now in 2014 and again this season. Arizona has not skipped their designated date with the Jacks since 2003. But pressure to play now hasn't gone away. Arizona will play now in Tucson next season, and again in 2021, 2023, 2024 and 2026. The Sun Devils have agreed to play now in Tempe in 2020, 2022 and 2025. To replace the Wildcats and Sun Devils this season, now scheduled non-conference road games at UTEP and Missouri State. Now's top 2 players from Tucson. The Lumberjacks have 10 players from Tucson on their 2018 roster, including likely starters Taylor Powell, Cam Denson and Jake Castile, all from Southpoint Catholic High School. Now is also breaking in Tucson area freshman Connor Levens of Marana, Heath B. Mueller of Ironwood Ridge and Max Michalczyk of Catalina Foothills. Holdovers Jonas Leader of CDO, Seth Clem of Marana, Chase Lorda of Ironwood Ridge and Marquise Simmons of Tucson High are challenging for playing time. The 2 best Tucson area players to suit up for the Lumberjacks. 1. Sonny Campbell. The 1965 All-State back from Marana went on to play for the Atlanta Falcons in 1970 and 1971. 2. George Duarte. Duarte was an All-City player from Sunnyside High School in Waukesha at Arizona State and then transferred to now where he became a second-team Division II All-America defensive back in 1985 and 1986. Duarte set Now's school record with 9 interceptions in 1986 and played briefly for the Chicago Bears in 1987. 1. More efficiency on the defensive line. Arizona has placed just one defensive lineman on the All-PAC-12 first team since 1998. That was Brooks Reed, who earned the honor in 2010 and is now playing for the Atlanta Falcons. The 3 leading teams of Arizona's last 25 years, 1993, 1994 and 1998, all had first-team defensive linemen, Rob Waldrop and Teddy Bruschi in 1993 and 1994, and Daniel Rear in 1998. 2. More production from kickers. Arizona hasn't had an All-PAC-12 first-team place kicker since All-American Steve McLaughlin in 1994. It has had just 2 first-team punters in the same period, Nick Folk in 2006 and Keenan Crider in 2007. By comparison, Utah, which joined the league in 2011, has had the last 5 first-team punters. 3. The first-team All-PAC-12 quarterback. Arizona remains the only team from the original PAC-10 without a first-team All-Conference QB. Nick Foles was second-team in 2010 and Keith Smith was similarly honored in 1998. Cal Tate didn't make the first or second team last year. Those honors went to USC's Sam Darnold and UCLA's Josh Rosen. 1. If you ever drive Interstate 25 from Albuquerque to Denver, you pass through the isolated and small New Mexico town of Raton. That's home turf for new UA offensive coordinator Noel Mazzone. He played QB at New Mexico before hitting it big as a coach. In 2015, Mazzone was paid $846,000 to be UCLA's offensive coordinator. In 2016, Texas A&M paid him $965,000, and last year $800,000. He failed to earn a $200,000 bonus a year ago when he was part of the exodus from Kevin Sumlin's staff. 2. Oregon State's 2 new coordinators, Brian Lindgren on offense and Tim Tedesser on defense, are being paid $500,000 and $550,000 this season. Both have 3-year contracts. Lindgren played at Idaho, Tedesser at North Dakota. 3. New Oregon offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo, who played at San Jose State, is being paid $750,000 by the Ducks this year. It's the first season of a 3-year, $2.4 million deal. 1. Alabama. The Crimson Tide scheduled the Citadel, Louisiana Lafayette and Arkansas State in non-conference games. It's not a fluke, either. A year ago, Nick Saban scheduled home games against Mercer, yes, Mercer, along with Fresno State and Colorado State. 2. Florida. True, the Gators are coming off a 4-7 year, but is that any reason to schedule Charleston Southern, Colorado State and Idaho? 3. Oregon. The Ducks have the PAC-12's softest schedule, and can't you imagine the fans paying high freight for the seats at Autzen Stadium to watch Portland State, Bowling Green and San Jose State? 1. SMU at North Texas, Saturday. New SMU head coach Sonny Dykes will go against second-year North Texas head coach Seth Littrell. Dykes was Arizona's offensive coordinator from 2007 to 09. Littrell was Dykes' running backs coach at Arizona in 2009, and then replaced him as co-offensive coordinator in 2010 and 2011. 2. Arizona at Houston, September 8. UA coach Kevin Sumlin was Houston's head coach from 2008 to 11. One of his first hires, as a special teams coach, was Tony Levin. When Sumlin left in December 2011 to become head coach at Texas A&M, the Cougars elevated Levin to head coach. He performed in that role for 3 years, was fired, and now owns a Chick-fil-A franchise in Houston. Perhaps the UA can arrange for its post-game meal from Levin's restaurant. 1. David Shaw. Stanford's coach has averaged 10.5 victories in his 7 seasons. He is the league's new Don James, a steady, savvy, likable man whose worst record at Stanford is 8-5 Rose Bowls. 3 and counting. 2. Jake Browning. Washington's senior quarterback, who will be a 4-year starter, enters the season with a 29-11 career record. At what has been the league's quarterback factory the last 40 years, Browning has already thrown more touchdown passes, 78, and completed the higher percentage of passes, 64.4, than the great UW quarterbacks of history, Sonny Sixkiller, Mark Brunell, the Howard brothers, Warren Moon, Jay Clocker and Mark Stuiasosopo. 3. Util specialists. Utes punter Mitch Wishnowsky was the first team all-conference punter in 2016 and 2017, and place kicker Matt Gay was a first-teamer last year. Gay made 30 of 34 field goal attempts last season, winning the Lou Groza Award. Wishnowsky won the Rate Guy Award in 2016. No other team in PAC-12 history has had the Groza and Guy winners as their starting kickers simultaneously. The Utes are traditionally the league's most respected special teams unit, and that makes a difference. 1. USC at Arizona, September 29. It's early, but a home victory by Arizona is likely to give the Wildcats a 5-0 start and the fuel to beat Cal.